Hey you guys, it's Hannah and welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. Today's video, I'm super excited because we're going to be talking about some upcoming mystery releases for the month of February. It is officially winter cozy season and I typically read mainly mystery and thrillers around this time of year. It just seems to be a genre that I gravitate towards. I really enjoy all of the sleuthing and detective type tropes. So I am really excited to kind of see what books are going to be released for February. I did a couple of ARC reviews for some mysteries in the month of January. I really enjoyed Alice Feeney's latest release, Beautiful Ugly. Go ahead and head on over to my short, which kind of details my review. So without further ado, I have my computer up here and we're going to go through all of these latest releases, starting kind of like at the beginning of the month. The first one that I want to call out is called A Killing Cold by Kate Alice Marshall. And this is a mystery thriller, and the back of the book reads, when Theodora Scott met Connor, wealthy, charming, and a member of the powerful Dalton family, she fell in love with him in an instant. 6 months later, he's brought her to Idlewood, his family's isolated winter retreat, to win over his skeptical relatives. A winter retreat. Yeah, this is like the perfect release for February wintertime. Theo has tried to ignore the threatening messages on her phone, but she can't ignore the footprints in the snow outside the cabin window or the strange sense of familiarity she has about this place. Then, in a disused cabin, Theo finds something impossible, a photo of herself as a child. Photo taken at Idlewood. Theo has almost no recollection of her earliest years, but now she begins to piece together the fragments of her memories. Someone here has a shocking secret that they will do anything to keep hidden, and Theo is in terrible danger because the Daltons do not lose, and discovering what happened to Idlewood may cost Theo everything. Ooh, interesting. So it kind of seems a little bit like a psychological thriller with a little bit of a mystery aspect due to this past that she can't piece together. I'm intrigued. I love anything with a wintry setting, anything that is an isolated setting, which kind of feels like what this book is giving. So I'm all game for it. This sounds fantastic. Oh, by the way, A Killing Cold releases February 4th, so right at the beginning of the month. So the next book I want to call out that is going to be released on February 11th is called Nothing Ever Happens Here by Serafina Nova Glass. So this is a pure adult thriller. It's a little bit of a women's fiction. I've never read anything by this author. I almost feel like this is a debut author. Actually, no, she won the the Edgar Award nomination. So she has written a couple other books. It looks like she's written about 4 or 5 other books. So the back of this one reads, Nothing ever happens in small towns. When Shelby Dawson survives a harrowing attack that should have left her dead, she tries to move past it for herself and for her family. 15 months later, with the help of her best friend Mackenzie, she finally feels safe again in the snowy Minnesota town she calls home. Guys, another snowy setting. Like, this is just perfect. I love that these are being released during the wintertime, right at like peak snow season. But when an anonymous note appears on her windshield bearing the same threats her attacker made, Shelby realizes that her nightmare has only just begun. As new evidence surfaces and a group of well-meaning senior citizens accidentally makes the case go viral online, the situation quickly goes from bad to worse. And with suspicious accidents targeting those closest to her happening all over town, Shelby can't shake the feeling that she's being watched. Ooh, so this is definitely more in line with the thriller, maybe a little bit of a cat and mouse kind of chase going on here. Fighting to stay one step ahead of the disaster, she finds herself asking the question on everybody's lips, who's attacking her that night, or who has attacked her that night. But Shelby isn't the only one with questions. Mackenzie's husband, Leo, vanished without a trace on that terrible night over a year ago. No one knows why, until a deep dive into his finances reveals a history of debt, mismanaged funds, and hidden accounts, one of which is still active. Their suspicion that Leo is still alive only complicates things further, though. When another person connected to Shelby goes missing, she's caught in a race against time before her attacker becomes a killer. Yeah, I'm definitely getting a cat and mouse chase from this mystery thriller. Way more of the thriller vibe. I read The Last Word by Taylor Adams last winter and absolutely loved it. It's one of the only mystery thrillers that I've read with like a cat and mouse chase type of a trope to it. And I was completely obsessed with it. I loved it, loved it, loved it. So I think this is going to be a really highly rated, highly anticipated release for me. I've not read any of these other works by this author before. She has a couple others called The Vacancy in Room 10, The Vanishing Hour, On a Quiet Street, Such a Good Wife, Someone's Listening. I almost feel like she typically writes, based off of some of these titles and things that I'm seeing on the screen here, that she writes a lot of like small town mysteries, which I love. Anything that deals with a small town, I feel like is really interesting when you take a setting that seemingly nothing ever seems to happen, and then a case like this occurs and it like throws off the culture of the entire town. To me, that is like so fascinating. So, Nothing Ever Happens Here by Serafina Nova Glass, and this will be released on February 11th. Okay, so book number 3 is Tell Me You Trusted Me by L. Owens. This is also going to be released on February 11th. Tell Me You Trust Me by L. Owens is actually a debut release, so I'm really intrigued to see how I'm going to find this one. Debut mystery thriller authors, it's a lot of pressure because the market is typically very heavily saturated and overpopulated. It's really hard to kind of break out and make a claim and make your stake known as an author in this genre. So I'm intrigued. We will see how L. Owens does with Tell Me You Trust Me, which is going to be released also on February 11th. The back of the book basically reads, when her husband goes missing, Marissa Creighton fears the worst. Tell me you trust me was the last thing Ethan said to her, and she shrugged it off. Now she can't get those words out of her head. Marissa's family has always been her rock, but when they come to help her with her 18-month-old Logan, their overprotectiveness borders on oppression, occupational hazard at the family surveillance business, or is it? Seeking comfort in the playlist she and Ethan share, Marissa is shocked to find a new song on there, Trust Me. She's certain it's a message. Using song titles as code, she and Ethan start communicating back and forth, but she still doesn't understand why he left. While his messages point to incriminating documents, her family uncovers evidence of an affair, but their discoveries come up with their own baggage, including personal threats, several bank accounts, and dusty surveillance devices. All the while, Marissa wonders whether she'll ever learn the truth or see her husband again. Ooh, fascinating. So we're getting a little bit of like a more mystery leaning I'm feeling from this debut than thriller. The fact that her husband is missing, a missing person to me is a really fun trope because then the author can either play into the fact of are they deceased? Are they actually running away from something? There's a lot of different avenues you can take with a missing person type of a trope. So I am really excited to read this. This is actually going to be published through Thomas and Mercer. I don't think I've read too many books that are published by that publishing house before. But this like overall storyline sounds really good to me, and I do want to read more debut authors. So happy to add this one to the anticipated new release. Book number 4 is called The First Girl by Claire McGowan. So The First Girl by Claire McGowan is also being published by Thomas and Mercer. Not read too many books by them, but they are very busy in February. This one is going to be published on February 18th, so a little bit into the middle of the month. All right, so this one seems like it's also a little bit more of a crime fiction thriller. And the back of the book goes, she believed her serial killer ex was innocent, but now history is repeating itself. What does she really remember? Writer Karen Walker knows more than most about murderers. Her first love went on to become the Bagman, a notorious serial killer now locked away for a life in maximum security prison. It's a little eerie, but anyways. Karen has spent her life running from the weight of having loved him, defending him, and ultimately leading police to his door. But now, 10 years later, she's just about to publish her accounts of his crimes. A young woman is abducted in horribly familiar circumstances. Oh gosh. It can't be the bagman, can it? He's safely behind bars, but she has to know for sure. Running to the hometown she thought she left for good, Karen is drawn into a deadly game of cat and mouse with a man she's never escaped. If there's any chance of saving the kidnapped girl, she'll have to face up what really happened then once and for all. Oh my god, guys, why does this sound so good? Uh, what? Okay, so the whole like cat and mouse chase like really needs to get played in more because it is such a really good trope for a thriller. Like there's always suspense, there's always this like heart palpitation, like anxiety type moments because you don't know if the main character is gonna get caught or not, and like the stakes are always so high. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna stress myself through this book. I totally am going to be freaking out reading this, but I am so excited. Like, sign me up. I cannot wait. Also, the author is born in Northern Ireland, so you better bet there's going to be some really great slang terms in here. There's going to be some really unique language, and I'm obsessed already. I can't wait to read this. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the next one that we have is by Gillian McAllister. If you are a mystery thriller girly or guy, this this book, The Famous Last Words by Gillian McAllister, is probably going to be on your list of like anticipated releases just because of how great Gillian is. Their other book, The Wrong Place, Wrong Time, was actually picked by Reese Witherspoon for Reese's book club, so you know that this is going to be like super beloved on Goodreads. The hype is going to be there for this book. And I'm excited because the back of this sounds also really, really good. All right, so it goes, it's June 21st, the longest day of the year, and new mother Camila's life is about to change forever. After months of maternity leave, she will drop her infant daughter off at daycare for the first time and return to her job as a literary agent. Finally. But when she wakes, her husband Luke isn't there, and in his place is a cryptic note. Then it starts. Breaking news. There's a hostage situation developing in London. The police arrive and tell her Luke is involved, but he isn't a hostage. Her husband, the father, eternal optimist, is the gunman. Oh god. It's gonna be like one of these like internal family struggles and drama, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm obsessed already. What she does next is crucial because only she knows what the note he left behind that morning says. Famous Last Words is a story of crime, marriage, and more secrets than Camilla could ever have imagined. This novel cements Gillian McAllister's reputation as best at putting her characters in impossible situations and making her readers not only contemplate but feel what it would be like to find themselves in those situations. Wow. So true. Yeah, so we basically have like a dysfunctional relationship that is also very prevalent in like Alice Feeney's books. If you haven't checked out Beautiful Ugly yet, please go do when that releases on January 14th. It is such a good book. It also explores marriage relationships. She typically writes in that way. I have not read Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister, but I've heard really good things about it. So I am excited to pick this one up. This, like I said, releases at the end of the month. This is on February 25th. Oh, yes, the next one also releases on February 25th. It is called Close Your Eyes and Count to 10 by Lisa Unger. So the back of this reads, when the game begins, who will make it to the count of 10? Oh, a good, like, Knives Out scenario. I could get behind that. Charismatic daredevil and extreme adventurer Maverick Dillon invites you to the ultimate game of hide and seek. Oh my god, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. Anytime that there's a game or a prize at the end and all of these, I'm guessing it's going to be these like crazy rich people or people that are all like annoying in some way, go to some location. Yes, yes, please. Okay, let's continue. As the players gather on Falcoa Island, it's a remote island, yes! The event quickly spirals into a chilling test of survival. A storm rages as a deadly threat stalks the contestants, turning the challenge into something far more sinister than a social media stunt it was intended to be. Never goes to plan, does it? Enter Adele, a single mother with a fierce determination to protect her children at all costs. When she begins the game, she unwittingly enters a twisted web of deception and intrigue. Can she maneuver through the treacherous storm and relentless competition and get home to her family? In a ruthless battle for survival, where the stakes are higher than ever, the blurry line between the virtual and the real proves that the only person we can really trust is ourselves. Yes! Oh my God, I cannot wait. Oh, she also did the book The New Couple in 5 Feet, which I have also not read. Why am I not reading some of these like highly rated mysteries is beyond me, but I am so excited. Like, I love a remote setting. Like, if you can give me an immersive setting and just like plop me down in there and like have me relive all of the culture and drama and madness that can occur in an isolated setting, like, I'm hooked, like, instantly. Like, it's gonna be at least a 4-star for me if you can give me that. So I am so excited for Close Your Eyes and Count to 10. Like, this is giving me Knives Out to like the 10th degree. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes all of the anticipated releases that I'm excited for the month of February in the mystery thriller category. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. It came out with some good recommendations. I found out that I need to place a lot of holds for my local library. I typically don't buy mystery thrillers because I just don't really seem to reread those once I figure out like the plot twist, like the whole plot twist, like ending to a lot of these books isn't something that, once you get to the aha moment, you don't really need to like reread. Do you know what I'm saying? So I hope this gives you some ideas of what you need to place on hold at your library if this is something that you typically do. I definitely recommend going to Libby, which is the library app, and then just scrolling down for the titles of some of these and placing a hold. That way you can get in line a little bit faster. Even if they don't have a copy on hand yet, you can at least put yourself in line to get the book a little bit faster. So yes, thank you all so much for sticking around for today's video. Please leave a comment down below if you're excited for any of these upcoming releases. And don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to this channel. And I'll see you guys in another one soon. Bye!